These are the dominant seventh with raised and lowered fifths, raised and lowered ninths on A, and on the 1, 3, 5, 6 string family. So we'll begin with voicings that go generally in this across or in this direction. And some of the harmonies that are a big part of this will be the B flat minor major 7 type, the D flat major 7 with a sharp 5th type, and also the G minor 7 flat 5 type chords. So we'll start out here. This is an A, F, D flat, and B flat. So in actual fact, it's a B flat minor major 7, but with the A at the low note. We can move the top voice B flat to C. Voice exchange between C sharp or D flat and C. Also, we have harmonies like this that are a little more modal. For instance, this is A, F, E flat, and B flat. As long as we make the resolution, we're okay. Continuing to move forward from these chords, of course, we have the C sharp, A, C sharp, or D flat, E flat, and B flat, and we can flatten our finger to get an extra C up top, and then resolve, of course, to D major, or B minor 7 is fine too. Either resolution is fine. And we can now get voicings on B flat. So that's just a traditional minor major 7, B flat F, D flat and A. It's a voice exchange from that chord. So that's all it is. We can move the top voice down to G if we want to, and then resolve to a D major. Also, we can move it up this way. So we can make it a B flat minor, B flat F, D flat and C, voice exchange between the outer voices, and then resolve. It resolves really nicely, like a B flat minor chord. It can even resolve to a B minor. Works perfectly well. If we go to C sharp now, and we can even do C in that sense, which gives us a D flat major 7 with a sharp 5 with a C in the bass. We can plane ahead like that, and just by moving the lower 3 voices, C, F, D flat, and A, just moves to C sharp, F sharp, D, and A very nicely. And now we're moving to the D flat. So we have, this is a D flat major with a flat 5, D flat, G, F, and C. Top voice can move to B flat or A, and again, resolve, no problem. Okay, resolving to D. I'm doing a lot of the resolutions to D. So we could resolve to, A flat if we wanted to. That's no problem. So, but in this case, we'll just keep doing it to D major, so we can hear that resolution. Okay, very, very simple resolution. Now, from this D flat, we can also move forward on that, so we're not just bound by that. For instance, this is a D flat A, F, and C, D flat major sharp 5, moving the top voice down to B flat, and let's resolve it to A flat like that. That might be nice, or A flat with that's a nice resolution to an A flat major with a sharp 11. C, A flat, G, and D works very well. Also with a sharp 5. So that kind of works, a double sharp 5. And then maybe back to the D. That sort of a thing. Or it could resolve to D minor as well. So that works really well. So, D minor major works great. Now, moving forwards on C sharp, we have a C sharp A, a G, and an E flat. We can put that up to an F. So, and the voices can be exchanged on each point. So this is D flat, A, G, and E flat. Could be up to F, and then to put push ahead to an F sharp like that. It might be nice as a D major resolution. The voice exchange, we now have an E flat. This is interesting because it's the same as this in terms of the shape. E flat, A, G, and D flat, resolving to a D major. That's perfectly fine. Moving ahead, D flat, G, F, and E flat. Resolves to D major, no problem. We can also do that on E flat. So this gives us the half-step resolution from below and above. E flat, A, G, and F. And that can splay out to D major. Also, we can use a B flat, E flat, B flat, A, and F. Maybe take the top voice up to G, and we have a good replacement. And this can even resolve to A flat. And either one. Okay. Now, moving forward, still, we can remember that each of these can be a dominant as well. E flat, G, F, and D flat, going to a B and then resolving to D nicely that way. That works really well. So the E flat acts as sort of a dominant. Here too, E flat, A, F, and D flat, going to B and then resolving to D. So in that case, it's acting as sort of a dominant chord. The E flat going to D in that sense. Same thing with the F. F, A, G, and E flat resolves nicely. So that's an F, A, sort of a whole tone sound, but it works within this context. It's the same notes. Okay. Also an F, an F major 7 with a sharp 5 has both. So now we have an F, we have a sharp 5, and we have a regular 5th, which is totally acceptable. We haven't done a lot of that right now, but that would resolve nicely. So it's viewing the A almost as a having a sharp 5 and a natural 5. And that's a great resolution that works really nicely. That could even occur here. For instance, D flat, F, E, and C. It's like major 7 with a sharp 9. And then you can hear the resolution. Okay, and we'll do more of those. Those are another point that can be mixed in. The 5th and the raised 5th can be included in the dominant sound. That's perfectly acceptable. Now, if we're moving from F, we can also, there are a variety of dominants here. So here's an F7, and if we just move the top voice down, E flat, F, C, A, and D, E flat, moving to D flat, and then we just resolve to D, that's fine. So, or the minor. Okay. Moving forward again on F. So now voicing starting on the sharp 5th. This is F, D flat, C, and G. And of course this sort of acts like a D flat major 7 with a augmented 11th. And the interesting thing about that substitution is if you move the whole voicing up a semitone, it sounds like an A. To a D. So it's just planing. In some of these voicings, we have that opportunity to do. They have half-step resolution possibilities. If we exchange the outer two voicings, we get G, D flat, C, and F. And we can move that to an E flat and then resolve. So that's nice as well. Whether it's with minor or major resolution, same here. And that can anticipate actually an A flat. resolution. So that works. Now going back to this, we can move the top voice to A. F, D flat, C, and A. And move that additionally to B flat. Resolve to D. Okay. So that's another option as well. And like I said, the voice exchange options are fairly common there. But it's a nice resolution. Okay. If we take these down to G here. So for right now we were doing them nice and deep. Those are beautiful voicings lower on the neck. They really have a great sound. Now we can move up to G. G, here's a traditional sharp 9 sound. G, C sharp, C, and A. And resolving to D. Or resolving to A flat. Okay. Now if we exchange the voicings, there's our sharp 9. A, C sharp, C, and G. Move the top voice to F. And again we resolve. No problem, to D. Go back to this. Now we can move the inner voice, the C, to B flat. And we get that resolution. Okay. Very nice. So that gives you like an A7 with a sharp 5 and a flat 9. Okay. And all of those can move their way. Here's an A7 with a flat 9, so you can see all of them are interchangeable. You know, all of them can be used to resolve. Now, moving forward, here's your sharp 9. We can take the G up to B flat. And we have A, D flat, C, and B flat, which is kind of a sharp 9 and a flat 9 in the same chord, and resolve it to a D or a B minor 6-9, either one, any of those is fine, or another sharp 9 chord, which would act like a D major 7 type of sound with a sharp 5. So that's okay too. Going back here, voice exchange, we have a diminished major 7 on B flat, D flat, C, and A. And we can move the top voice to G. There's our B flat minor 6-9. Now if we exchange the voicings, there's our G minor 7 flat 5 that we were talking about, and it resolves really well to the D major. So that gives us a number of options for those types of chords. And it really shows that there are so many ways to do this. For instance, even if we move back up and go back across some of the ground we've covered. For instance, here's a traditional E flat 7. And of course, it resolves great to the D. So it can move from here. We can get this B flat, G, E flat, and D flat. And we can just move that into B minor. You know, that's fine. So, you know, or to D minor. So you can see even just a traditional E flat 7 can sound really, really nice. Now also, if we move the bottom voice to F and resolve to D. So this, move the top voice. So we have this, and then maybe exchange the voicings. So there are a number of options. The B flat minor suspended sound, the F minor sound, working really well, resolving to D. And these are substitutions that we may not have thought of as we would normally think of them. Okay, so that gives you at least some of the options for the sharp 5th and lowered 5th, sharp 9 and lowered 9th, on the dominant chord, 1, 3, 5, 6 string family on A.